Hey guys, welcome to the end of the week, the end of the month, the end of the first half of the year, the second quarter of the year. And the markets have been quite interesting the first half of the year, and we'll just do a catch up, see what we've been having. I'll do a breakdown just to see overall how markets have been behaving in the last 6 months. For example, looking at most stocks in the last 6 months, ever since we topped, especially on the indices, ever since we topped around December, markets have been in a bear market until today. We've not seen any signs of market moving higher. Gold is also ending the week moving lower, and a lot of things have been selling off, and the dollar rising on the other hand. So I'll do a catch up, show you what has been happening. Dollar has been king this whole year, especially against many other currencies, including the Kenya shilling. The Kenya shilling has really been weakening against that. Talking about the Kenya shilling, I saw that inflation today, we're checking it out today morning with Ken, and we're seeing that inflation has reached a 5-year high. We are at an inflation rate of 5%. I was seeing cooking oil on its own has had an inflation rate of 50%, which is quite high. Things like oil have been having 7 to 8%. What else? Transport has also increased by inflation. So everything is on the rise. A few things on the other hand, like I don't remember exactly. A few things have been reducing in the inflation, so not everything has really been on the rise, but across the board, most things have been on the rise. So I'll do a catch up just to show you what's happening. Maybe even we look at the Kenya shilling and see what has been happening. We saw cryptocurrency selling off as well as the quarter came to an end yesterday, so things were in the red yesterday. So I'll just do a catch up. Let's go straight into the charts, because I speak from the charts, not just my own opinions. I'm telling you what I'm seeing in the market. So allow me to share my screen and show you what we have. Cool, let's get into it. So guys, looking at the gold chart analysis that we're seeing here on the charts, okay, we're seeing that gold has really been moving lower. We broke below a certain trend line I was watching. So there's this trend line you're seeing. We are having sort of a first bounce here, second bounce, third bounce. Now this is sort of a bit useless for me, so let's do away with it. Now we're seeing markets going back to the previous low that held around the 1785 level. Market has been selling off better part of the week. There's no green week I've seen this week. For the past 4 to 5 days, market has been in the red. We haven't gone back to the 1850 level, and an important factor early on today, or even at the moment, we're seeing the gold market breaking the $17.95 mark. So the dollar is really gaining against many of these pairs, including the gold market. Looking at the 4-hour chart, you're seeing that it's true, we've just broken that barrier in the past. I think 8 hours ago we broke below that barrier, and market is still selling off. So we might see the market ending the week in a bearish tone. Okay, if you look at the 1 week chart, it's strongly bearish. As you can see here, market is strongly bearish after getting this double top at this point. This is a very long-term analysis, so you have to pay attention to that. We can easily see market selling off back. Even if we go much further down, respecting the weekly chart, we might even see markets selling off to 1675 support level, okay, which market held for a very long time. As you can see, previously it was a resistance back in 2020. Once market broke above that level, it's been acting as a support. So I wouldn't be surprised to see market. Remember, anything can happen in the market, so I'm really open to seeing both sides. Even if it goes up, we can easily see market going up to $3,000 mark. So I'm weighing both sides and respecting the market as it is, not following my own opinions. Okay, so that's what I'm watching on the gold market. Potential for a sell-off, a very strong sell-off. I wouldn't be surprised to see that coming into the markets in the next few weeks, next few days, as we enter into the second half of the year. So that's what I'm watching on gold. A bit bearish on this one until I see gold bullish narrative coming into play, and one of those bullish narratives is seeing sort of this trend line, this counter trend line being broken that we're having here. So you can see this counter trend line. If it's broken to the upside, I'll be seeing, okay, market is starting to build bullish momentum, and also when we break above the $1850 mark and close above it, then I'll be bullish on this one. But as long as we're below these levels, if you look at the moving average, we're below the moving average, the 200 moving average, market might really sell off. And remember, 200 moving average is a long-term moving average that people watch, especially institutional traders, hedge funds, and such people. So it's a long-term position that people take, respecting the 200 moving the average. I won't look at it and say, okay, today I'm long, tomorrow I'm short. That would be really choppy. So looking at a long-term analysis on that. Apart from that, if we go to the next, let's look at Dow before I enter into the currencies. So looking at the Dow as well, this is what I was talking about. Actually, I'll finish with the Dow so that I can go and talk about the stocks, the indices, and the Bitcoins together. Okay, so if I go to Aussie dollar, let's go to Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar, massive sell-off. And I remember I talked about this on my journal. So if you're part of our Discord group, our WhatsApp group, as well as our Telegram group, I shared this analysis. If you come here on my journal, I updated it yesterday on Thursday, and I was talking about here it is. So you can see on Thursday I was saying market is hovering around the 0.6850 level, and I'm anticipating a break below this level to the downside with the aid of the dollar strength. Because I'm looking at the dollar strengthening across the board, I was expecting this break to come in. So if I zoom in, you can see we're hovering around this level. I was looking for that break, this psychological level to watch. If I go back to the analysis, back to the 4-hour chart, because that's what we're looking at, you can see that psychological level has been broken. Let me expand my screen so you see. Look at that strong sell-off that market is having. What time is it? It's now 11. It's 1 hour into London session. The Londoners have come buying the dollar and selling the market to the downside. So that's what you're seeing here. We're ending the week strongly bearish. This is normally very strong to see. If you look here, you're seeing that the Aussie dollar is down 1.5%. That is very huge, especially in the first half of the day. Okay, Londoners have just come in. New Yorkers are not yet here. We might see a very strong sell-off coming into the market, especially after getting this break and closing yesterday. Many people might come selling this market. Looking at the 4-hour chart, there's nothing much to look at. Actually, this is the 4-hour chart. I was going to the daily chart. If you go back to the daily chart, I'm waiting to see how this market is going to close. There's this channel sort of pattern being broken to the downside. Market is in a very strong sell-off. And if you go back to the 1-week chart, okay, if you go to the 1-week chart, let's clear this. These are a few analysis I was having. If you look at the 1-week chart, look at this. If you look at long term, the market has actually been in a bear market. Okay, the last time we were in a bull market, this was since 2011. The Aussie dollar has been weakening against the dollar. We used to be at parity meaning we were going at 1:1. Okay, $1 US dollar goes for 1 Australian dollar. But that was back in, if I remember, the 1:1. We broke that barrier in 2013, and market has never looked back. Okay, so I won't be surprised to see this massive sell-off coming on. I'm yet to see how the week will close, because I never make any judgment until the candlestick closes. I'll be waiting to see how that closes and see how we end the week. And last but not least, if we go to USD CAD, which I have a trade running on this one, let's go to the daily chart. This is the trade. I remember, if you go back to my journal, I remember I shared this early on in the week. So Monday we were here. I remember I was talking about, what was it? Remember we had a short trade last week, okay? So last week we were short USD CAD. This week we are long USD CAD. We had this short to the downside. Targets were hit, came out of that trade. Then early on in this week, you can see we were expecting market to come down to this level, get some entry, especially after getting a signal to enter, and go long back to the upside, okay? So what happened in the markets? On Thursday, this was my update. Market beautifully came to that level. We got our entries, and now we're looking for market to rally to the upside. I'm really looking for the 1.30 level to be hit. My first target, especially for today, is the 1.295 and 1.3 as we end the week. If markets are not hitting that level, I'll be looking to see if we can push into those levels next week. So that's what I was looking at on USD CAD. If I go to my, come back to my analysis here, this is the daily chart. So daily chart, look, I'm looking at a long-term channel-like pattern forming to the upside. I'm expecting markets to really rally to the upside, even looking for the 1.3300 mark. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for on this one. If I go to my 4-hour chart, where I got my trade execution, is what I'm really watching. Here's the trade that we got. Okay, I'm watching to see how there's this sort of counter trend line that is being broken. I'm looking to see this rally continue to the upside. Yesterday market sort of tried to sell off, moving to the downside, still stayed within that trade, and then now we've seen earlier on today markets have rebounded and they're really rallying to end the week in a bullish tone. So that's what I'm watching on this one. I'm still expecting markets to move further up. Apart from that, now as I go to maybe just a few highlights I can show here, the dollar index. Dollar index also yesterday we had a bit of a sell-off, but we're seeing the bulls coming back in. Remember, if you look at the daily chart, the trend has been your friend. Okay, look at this. We've come all the way from down here. You really don't want to go against the trend. Okay, In a bull market, we keep saying this a lot, in a bull market, bear factors are often ignored, and you can see yesterday we had a shooting star close more or less, but today morning we're seeing that follow through did come in. We're seeing sort of market still rallying to the upside. So like we keep saying, in a bear market, bullish factors, in a bull market, bear factors are often ignored, and vice versa. In a bear market, bullish factors are often ignored. So if I go back to the 4-hour chart, I was looking at this pattern. I was expecting a bit of a sell-off, but not that much, because I'm still dollar long, especially with what I have on my USD card. But I want to watch both sides of the market, two sides of the story, not just having one biased side. So I was looking at this one. If market is to close below this level yet again, you can see it was a resistance. If market, because yesterday we tried to close below, then market rally is trying to rally higher. If we get a push and closes below, then we can easily see this sell-off now coming into the market, and that can prompt me to stay out of the dollar long positions. But as long as we remain above this level, I'll be looking for market to really skyrocket. With that said, looking at things like GBP USD, we're seeing market has been selling off. We talked about this also in my journal. You can go and check it out. Euro USD, also looking to see if market can continue selling off to new lows, because you can see there's this level that market really supported. Looking to see if market can come back to that level to end the week there, and maybe even close even lower. Okay, now with that said, if I go to my US 30, because I want to talk about stocks and looking at what I'm saying, that markets have been in a bear market ever since the start of the year. So if you look at this stock, this was back in January. So we topped January 4th, 2022, and that's the last time we ever saw that high. That was around the 37. We neared the 30. We came shy of the 37,000 mark. We came around 36,960. Basically, if you just round it off, $37,000 mark by or large. And now we're seeing market has gone back down. We're starting to near the $30,000 mark. Market has been in a very strong bearish market, and this is because of a lot of factors that we talked about on one of our podcasts, where we were talking about the markets in a bear market, looming recessions around the corner. So that's, we talked about it in our analysis. So that's what we're looking at. Market has really sold off. We want to see if we can see the market falling down to maybe even the $30,000 mark. Okay, if I go to the 4-hour chart, we had this counter trend line. I was actually expecting market to come to this trend line to the upside. You're seeing this, I was looking for a first touch, second touch, and a third touch in the sell-off, but market didn't really get to that point. I think the sellers were very strong in the market, and you're seeing we got that move to the downside. Yesterday, markets tried to rebound. I was looking at this key level, so you can see this was a resistance. We broke it, came acted as support in line with the trend line. Market broke it, retested yesterday. This was a good selling point for those who look to sell such breakout and retest. So it was a good selling point, and we can easily see the market ending the week in a bearish tone. So that's what I'll be looking at this week, okay, to see how market is going to end that here. Now if I go to my all lists, now what I was talking about, that cryptocurrencies are down. Now let's start with Bitcoin. Just looking at how bearish the market has been. This market as well hasn't been in any bearish tone ever since last year November. Market has been in a massive sell-off, and that's exactly what you're seeing. You're looking at the structure that market is forming, respecting the flag formation, the channels, the key levels, the support and resistance, and now we're seeing market really selling off. I wouldn't be surprised to see the market hitting the $15,000 mark, or even the $10,000 mark in the next few weeks, few months. Okay, like I said, there are a lot of things that have caused this, such as inflation, interest rates, the wars happening. So a lot of factors put in together is giving a lot of investors to sit on cash instead of investing in such stuff until there's clarity in the market. So you can easily see that sell-off coming. Same thing on Ethereum. Ethereum is back to $1,000 mark. We hit a highs of around 4,800. Market has lost more than, I think, about 75%, 70 to 75% of its value. XRP is trading at 0.3 dollars. Okay, Filecoin, Solana is at 32. These are very good buy zones as well. It's not that we're just in a bear market. These are also very good zones to do what we call dollar cost averaging, because you can't really time a bottom. So it's good to always incorporate different strategies that can help you average into your position as you buy into the market, okay, instead of buying all at once in a lump sum. So that's what I wanted to really show. If you look at the stocks on my right here, look at Google, look at Tesla. Yesterday they were really in a bearish tone. Markets haven't really They've tried to rebound, but that rebound strength is not really there. So the sellers are really having a good time in the markets, as the markets are strongly selling off. We're seeing a lot of things in the red. If you look at US 100, which incorporates the top 100 tech companies in America, also in a bearish tone. Okay, markets are really selling off. You look at the S&P 500, which is a benchmark that most investors look when they're returning profits to the clients. They beat the S&P 500 because it has the top 500 companies in America. When you're buying this indices, it basically means you're buying into the American capitalistic system, and now we're seeing that sell-off really coming into the market. If you go all the way to Australia, the Australian index 200 is also down. Looking at the UK 100, it's also down. Looking at the DAX, it's also down. Looking at the MOEX, which is DAX is from Germany, UK 100 of course from the United Kingdom. MOEX is exchanged from Moscow. Okay, so also in a bearish trend. So many things across the board are in a bear market. So those are factors you need to look at, not only in currencies, but look at everything across the board. So I think that's basically it. I just wanted to do a rough analysis for you guys to know where the whole market is. I've covered the stocks, I've covered indexes, I've covered currencies, the ones that I mainly look at, and I've also covered cryptocurrencies. So, and as a nutshell, as we end the first quarter of the year, the first half of the year, the second quarter of the year, it's good to always keep tabs with what is happening globally. And like I said, there's a podcast we did on this one where we talked about the markets in a bear market and what to do when the markets are in a bear market. Cool. So allow me to end it there. I think I've given a good update on that. I don't have anything much else to say apart from that. And all this, as we keep saying, as we keep stressing, it's always good to get information, and that's what we try and stress. We've always been giving free content here on YouTube as well to our students, where we now go deeper with what you guys are getting is just a tip of the iceberg. If you come and join us and be part of us, now we get deep into everything we're talking about. So make sure you come and join us. We're having our intake for July going on, July and August. As much as we're expecting the elections to come in, we are really taking the intakes for July so that we can be done with them before the August comes, and after that you can be starting to trade your own money. So that's basically it. I don't have anything much apart from that. Allow me to end it there for today. I'll catch you guys next week, and as I always say, remember, stay woke, stay financially literate. Thank you very much for watching Financial Hub's content on YouTube. For more forex analysis, financial education, podcasts, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.